Fever Team, welcome aboard. Welcome back to Transport Fever 2. Welcome back to Bonneyville on PlayStation 5. Welcome to my channel. Thank you very much for joining me. If you are joining me, and you must be, then hit that like. And if you're hitting that like button, why not subscribe? It really does help get my videos out there, and it doesn't cost you a penny. And if there's other things you want to support my channel with, feel free to have a look around. There are lots of different videos for you to choose from, and you can have a look at such wonderful things as super thanks, and of course membership, and of course the merch store. Feel free to have a nosy around. Anyway, we're back. We're back here. This has turned into a bit of a grid, hasn't it? So where have we been, and what have we been doing? Well, what we have been doing is, I think, what can we put in here? What can we? That's income. That's what's that one look like? What's that one look like? Yeah. How do we get the? Do we get the towns? Towns. There we go. Now there we go. We're not cluttered with so much mess. So we've been looking here at some of our needs and some of our demands and saying to ourselves, how can we try and meet these demands? Because what we want to do is we want to turn that frown upside down. Yes, what we want to do is we want to increase the population. My goal for this series is every town 1,000 pop. So that's what and where I'm trying to get to. To achieve that, we need to get these growths going, and they're going pretty well. Destinations is adding 110% by all manner of networks, and cars are adding 50%, and we're getting 60, 60, 10. Nothing from that. Something to work on. We're getting a bit of a reduction for congestion, and we're getting quite a reduction for emissions. So our emissions is not helping us exactly. I've also been doing a bit of rearranging roads and things, which, as you said, has impacts. And this thing, it just takes time. It's only 1932, so it is only 1932. So what I have been doing is having a look through here at where these needs are. So we have these needs over here, which are all tools. We have these needs over here, which are all fuel. And we've got a little bit of a mixture in the middle of things like bricks and food. So if we were to turn on, I think it stops. Yeah, so that'll let us see some of these things. So we have, but it doesn't show us cargo hubs. Where's the cargo? Is that a depot? No, not a depot. Vehicle? No, that's road vehicles. Those things? Yes, there we go. So, as I was saying last episode, I have moved these out to the outskirts, and then we have some internal stuff. Now, the idea is to bring the emissions down. What we want to do is we want to set up these mini hubs, which have their own sphere of influence, which is great, and that will accommodate quite a lot of the demand. And then we put in these additional little hubs to cover the rest of it. The idea being that 80% of the trucks go here and 20% go there, and what we can do later, because I know it will come along later, is the internal trucks can be electric, which reduces the emissions. We're going to go through a bit of a high emissions because we haven't realized what we're doing to the climate just yet, so we haven't developed electric cars. Over here at Antiquera, we've been doing some of the same. So we have a hub out here on this side, we have a hub out here on this side, and we have a hub down here at the bottom, and we have some little ones in between. And again, we're trying to shuttle these up. Not doing too bad. There's places to pick up. Goods in particular is a place to pick up, but Antiquera in general not doing too bad, which is great. Population dropped a little bit because I was messing around with the roads, but I think they're probably also looking pretty good. 70% bonuses there and all the rest of it, and again, losing for the quality of the missions. Rivas, much of the same. This one was here for a while and has been here for a while. I've elected not to move it just yet. It's not quite congested enough. It made a bit of a mess, if you remember. I don't quite know if I can change this. No, I can't because it's an entrance and exit. Um, I'm not sure just exactly what I can or cannot do with that, but we'll have a look at it. And I have a couple of little places that are out on the outskirts. This one is less on the outskirts, um, but I really need it. And this is the residential. They don't need goods, so all the goods for this town, if we have a look, are all clustered over in this half, which is fine, and quite a fair amount of demand as well. Villa de Cans is still pretty small, which I'm kind of surprised about. We do seem to be having issues with Villa de Cans. We do have this central hub, which is not a great idea, but the population isn't such that it worries me for the time being. We will need to move it, but for right now, I can service pretty much all the industry needs from this one place. So that saves me a bit of time. I did move a little place over here because I wanted to start separating out some of the vehicle stuff. So that's fine. That's okay. That's a bit of a work in progress. So that's something to work on. That's what work in progress means, in case you didn't know. Palencia is kind of like a runaway star. It's working pretty well, but then the reason it's working pretty well is it's tiny. So we've got this central hub, which is great, and that's covering most things. And then we also have a stop over here. But you can see we're not quite covering everything just yet. But, oh, these are residences. So they're not after that. So we are covering most things, if not all things. No, there's places out here that could be served. So that might help us. So we'll possibly need to have a look at that, and that will help grow Palencia a little bit. Ubeda on the way around. Again, not quite as big as I would hoped. Picking up on the food. The fuel's quite dismal considering that we're actually making fuel over there. But if you remember, we have trucks coming all the way around on this long convoluted road network. And that probably needs fixed, to be fair. So I probably need to have a look at that and say now might be the time to invest in some infrastructure improvements. And we probably need to have a look at that road network through there because we are relying on that and we haven't really improved it. We did some improvement of the road networks through here. We have by no means, gone into interstate highways and things, but we have improved the network. But we haven't improved the road network between Ubeda and Palencia, and it's obviously telling that we have not. If we go over to Colmenar Viejo, they don't know what they want. They keep rising and falling. They've just suffered a massive drop. The reason they dropped was because I went in here and had to adjust some of the road networks. Some of the road networks were a bit crazy. They don't actually have a hub yet because they don't need one. I've got machines on one side and tools on the other. Eventually, a hub out here maybe might be the thing. I could even drop a hub in there. You don't want it too close to a busy intersection though. So I could probably. What's that topography look like? Dreadful. Well, it's on the hill. Yeah, you probably don't want it on a hill though, do you? But the whole place. Look at what the. Yeah, it's a bit of a lumpy, bumpy place. So they don't need it just yet. I'll probably wait till they come up, and then they'll need more things, and we'll have a look at it. Tomaloso, another runaway success, doing really, really well. Not so well on the goods front, but pretty good on everything else. I have just changed that. I've put this over here to deal with bricks, and I've added in a secondary bricks one over here to deal with bricks. So between the two of them, hopefully they deal with pretty much all of our bricks needs. Yeah, they should do. There are some bricks needs over there. Yeah, we might just be getting or missing these guys. It's hard to know with these particular ones. We should be getting them, but they're not highlighted. So yeah, construction materials over here. We can always add in another. And then we have goods coming through here. Goods is predominantly on this side. And I've also had to chuck in the goods over here. So that covers, between the two of those, that covers honestly the major part of the industrial area. We do have goods needs up here on this ridiculous road that they've now decided to build along the sides of, which is just this is not that's crazy. And I went through this, if you recall, or maybe you don't recall. I went through this because I did one of my maps, one of my first maps. I did quite a bit of sculpting, and I did a park, and I wanted roads through the park. And the problem is when you put a road in, people start building along the edges of the roads. It really makes a mess out of it, and we don't have a tool that that does that. This might do it. Regulate automatic changes. So that might be the kind of thing that allows us to delete that and say, I appreciate that you're putting a road here, but I don't want you to. And then I can delete that. Let's delete that and see what happens, because if he comes back in, we'll know that it hasn't worked, because otherwise I want to see how I can stop houses appearing on the sides of roads, which this is just bonkers. So Tomalosu is doing okay, and then we have Coslada, which is on the way up, and it's only just started with 4 goods, and I've only just started getting it some other, or four demands, 4 needs, and I've only just started getting it some of those things. I have set up a fuel line, so the Coslada goods truck, which I think is not that guy, but the Coslada goods truck, Coslada goods train, which is here, is now picking up fuel here and dropping it off at the depot, and we have some fuel trucks that are going to run the fuel over to Coslada. So that is some of the stuff that we have been doing. But let's just get off roads for now, and let's have a little look at trains. Or even planes. Right, after that slight cock up. Right, we're over here in the middle of nowhere. So let's just have a look. This is a passenger airfield. Boom. So we can afford that. So we're going to drop this down. This is the small passenger airfield. The large no, that's a cargo airfield. The large passenger airfield will come along later. I suppose we can also have a look at the cargo one as well. So now the thing with these is you can rotate them around, and that's grand as far as that goes, which is all well and good. But after you have put them on the ground, if you want to try and configure them, and say you wanted to add in an extra main building, you can't do anything on this side, so you can't swap anything like that. You can only add in here. So there's this little collection of things here, and you can add in main buildings, you can add in passenger terminals, you can add in cargo terminals, so you can have a mixed station, hangars for buying aircrafts. These things they all come with this attached, so that's fine. But then you can't really mess around with them too much. You can pick things like where the stuff goes, and I'm sorry for it keeps every time I select it, it comes up with that sound effect, which is really annoying. So there you go. So your chances to like mess around with these and change their layouts and things is somewhat limited, which is a bit of a shame. And if we have a look at what's available to us from passenger perspective in 1932, what we have is not a lot. We have one mono wing and a couple of is that a biplane or just a high wing? That's a biplane. I think this is just a high wing. So we've got a low slung wing, got a high wing, and we have that thing which looks like a flying sausage. Around 100 units were built. I can see why. So the thing is, they don't really carry a lot of people. 3 people, 44,000 a year for 3 people. That's a lot. 5 people, 87,000 a year. 8 people, 125,000 a year. So that's not a lot. So it's not I have concerns that airports don't make a lot of money, and that's a concern that I've had for a while. Um, why this is a cargo airport? Why are you showing me? Why are you showing me this? Oh right, I see. You're showing me all planes. Thank you. Sorry. This carries 8 units of cargo. My mistake. Not paying enough attention. 8 units of cargo, 124,000 a year. That's not going to get me anything. So at this stage, that is not my idea of fun. Um, passenger, we can only like three. Are you kidding? Um, five. When you think about the fact that some of these trains are set up to carry, what are we carrying here? 80 people. Um, it's not. I don't believe it's not a worthy endeavor just yet. Now that's probably fair, and I think while planes is a possibility, I think that at this stage, not very helpful for us, um, and and not very profitable for us either. Which is probably true. It was a bit of a luxury thing in the 1930s. It wasn't really until sort of the 1950s, 1960s, when bulk airlines became available, that they started to throw money at it, and it started to become a big thing, and people would routinely and regularly travel. And I think, well, even now with cargo, yes, planes carry cargo, but cargo ships carrying massive amounts of cargo is generally how we get cargo around the world. And around most countries, it's a bit of a mix of trains and trucks. So I'm not super keen on getting started on planes just yet, but I did want to have a look at them with you and kind of go over some of those basic things about setting out and everything else. So let's not worry about that for now. Let's what we want to do to focus on is the next thing that I want to focus on, which if we bring this in, is vehicles. Now, we obviously have emissions issues, and the emissions issues are caused by some of these vehicles. You can see these vehicles that are trundling around. Now, the cargo vehicles are these, the ones that are like solid, and the ones with doors are the passenger vehicles. The passenger vehicles, we need to go back and have a look at the passenger vehicle balance and say to ourselves, if there's 17 people waiting there and there's 7 people waiting there and all the rest of it, then is that really an appropriate number of vehicles, or do we have too many? We seem to end up with a regular jam up here in terms of trucks, and also with the commercial trucks. These commercial trucks are coming through the city now, so that's a mistake. There was a waypoint somewhere down here, which has been inadvertently deleted probably. So that's what I need to do, is I need to go around and do a little bit of that and move a little bit of things around and do a whole load of other little odds and sods. And it's been a while since we did a time lapse. So I think what I'll do is I will do that as a time lapse, and I'm just going to run around each of the towns. Now that we've got the supplies running, we want to redirect some of the traffic, and then round about the time I'm finished, that will then be time for us to go back and relook at the trains, because all of the trains that we changed will have been running now for a few years, and we can go back and have a look at their capacities. So I'm going to go and do that, and you can sit back and enjoy the show, and I'll see you real soon. Ta-ta for now. again. It's 1933. Let's start the clock. Right, so I did all that. Some of it was a bit tedious, and some of it had to put in other waypoints, and sometimes you make mistakes about where you're putting things, and go back and redo and everything else, and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, so there you go. So, I've been around everywhere and done that, and I've had a look, and there's there's places where we are busy. They're all passenger trucks and stuff. There's places where we're busy, which is not the same as congestion. So being busy is just how we are going to be with trucks, right? So we've got busyness occurring, but busyness is not log jams, and that worked. That worked. That player ownership tool. So that stops upgrades. So I had to do something a bit sneaky in here. I didn't want to lose all these businesses, but I didn't want, and I needed to make this road wider, which is it's still not working properly, because I can't switch this traffic light off, for heaven's sakes. I don't need you to be able to do that. I wonder what happens if you make it one way. Does that change the traffic light situation? It might, but it's making it the wrong way. So you can't. So I would need to turn the road around. I need to delete the road and do it around, which is that's a bit of a nuisance because and there should be a tool for that, and there isn't. So I think if you make it one way, you can get rid of some of these traffic lights. But I don't want to. I mean, I've just the population has already taken a bit of a crown, and it's like I'm trying to build it back up again. This one is really struggling. I'm really struggling with Villa supply, given this thing is here, and it's like I got all this stuff down here. It's just not supplying. It's prioritizing taking things elsewhere. So Villa is a problem child. We're going to have a look at Villa because they really are a problem child. Everywhere else is doing okay. Antiquera is picking up. We're not doing too bad. The goods is going to take a little bit of an effort to get up, but it's dropped off again. But, it will soon pick up. Arrecife is doing okay. Rivas, I had to do a little bit of jiggery-pokery on Rivas. It dropped off a little bit, but I expect it to rise again. So there you go. I mean, I don't want to bore you with the details. I went in and we're still battling some things like some of these congested lines for passengers. And also I went through and deleted some passenger vehicles because we don't want more vehicles moving around the map in towns. So if you are in particular looking for the overlay, if we go and have a look in the overlays department, right down here at the noise layer, it looks like noise to me. You can show average or current. So the average is obviously, the average over any given period of time, which it doesn't tell you. And the current is hopefully because we've changed things. Now, I feel like we're seeing some drop off, but that said, a lot of that is related to trains, so where there's not a train running. So maybe if we have a look at the towns, we can see. Not sure there's a big difference in terms of in and around the towns. Let's leave it on average for now. So yes, there's not there's not a lot I can do about this, as you saw here. All with this road being south, all of these buildings, sadly, they all come in here, which is the residential district. So if and I wanted to do something about that, it'd be a bypass, young man. It'd be a bypass. I would have to build a bridge and get over it. Go around. I'd have to build a bridge and go around. These people don't really want a lot of cargo traffic driving through their residential neighborhood. I might have to do that. It might be worth doing for Tomaloso, because Tomaloso is doing very well, honestly. Um, yeah, 717. Is Tommaluso our biggest? Where's my list of statistics? Towns, order the towns by size in terms of in terms of ascending order is how they do it. Yes, Tomalos is our largest town, followed by Arrecife, Rivas, Palencia, Ubeda, Antequera. Villa de Cans is only slightly bigger than Colmenar Viejo, and Coslada and El Puerto, problem child that it is. So anyway, and its growth arguably is one of the worst. 160, it's 160 is getting worse as I watch it. So yeah, so that's fine. I mean, this is what this process is identifying. So it's middle of 19. Well, it's not quite middle of 1933, but it's getting on there. So it's now time to have a look at a couple of things that we probably need to get sorted. I went and I had a look over here, and we've definitely got a backlog of trucks happening. So I added in some more because they're doing a very important job shifting steel to this goods plant, which was having problems with steel. It's getting some more because it needs to supply goods over here. These guys are not getting goods, and if they drop too low, and it won't be far, then we'll get nothing. I think it's below 300. If they drop below 300, I think they go down to two goods again, and I don't want them to go that way. Colmenar is also still touch and go, but I was messing around with it a bit to try and organize some things around there. They're now slightly better organized, which is okay. Um, yeah. So they're all bedding in and doing their thing. Oh, I bit the bullet and I built a tunnel. It's not a cheap tunnel. It's a big tunnel. It is a big tunnel, and the thing that happened that I predicted that would happen happens. The private users. So I had to do to get the private users to go somewhere else. Because if you remember, I've got this grade adjustment here that I can't make any neater because if I do, the river pops out from below my map or whatever. So this is now split. So the cargo goes one way, hopefully, as you can see, and the private vehicles go the other way. The cargo comes back that way, that's fine. So we've got this little bit here, and then we have got the town traffic which connects through here. So this, given this is now cargo, I can probably grade adjust this as well, so that it just runs under. Although I do need that. Yeah, I probably now, because this is I can probably now. Oh no, because not all cargo comes this way. This junction might be a nightmare. If I make it a roundabout, then the traffic coming this way would get priority. I could try that. I could make it a roundabout and see what happens. Because it's super clunky, isn't it? Let's do that now. So I'll delete those four ways, which is fine, and I will get my street. So we're using the one way bidirectional whom what's it jobby, and we're gonna go up just a smidge. No, we're not. We're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go down because I want it to finish sort of roughly there. So we'll go up and across. We're looking for 90 degrees, and we're looking for 50, which is there. We are looking for 90 degrees and 50. We are looking for 90 degrees and 50. We're looking to delete this little nubbin, and then this should hopefully do that, which is great. We have country roads coming in. It's easier with the straight. Might be slightly more reliable here. That one less so, but I don't want it to wreck my roundabout. That one definitely yes, and that one no, don't do that. Go there. Right, we've created that roundabout, and we'll see what that does for life, the universe, and everything in terms of keeping people moving, which is fine, right? And then that moves through there, and that does that. So that obviously created a shortcut that ran through there. This started to get really complicated, so I had to throw a roundabout in there as well. There's still some complexities down here. There's still some private traffic coming through this way, which is not ideal. And it's because they're wanting to turn down here. So I don't really want them to come in. I don't really want them to come down here. Um, hmm. So I'll need to have a look at that. So yes, so there's some complexities of traffic happening and an awful lot of stuff moving around out of here. Um, yeah, ooh, plastics and steel and stuff. We might get our plastics up. How much plastic is sitting here? Probably a ton of the stuff. Yeah, a ton of the stuff. I don't know if we've got any more room for any more trucks. We've got 36 already. I'll add in 4 more. I don't want this to become gridlock. I mean, this to me looks like it's about 3 seconds away from gridlock. Look at it. I mean, I suppose there's not really a lot of people here. And down here, it looks busy, but look at the size of it. It's massive. So it looks busy, but it's not busy. Well, it's not as busy as it could be. So we've got steel trucks and plastics trucks because we do need goods. We're really going to need goods, goody goods. What was I saying? Yes. So my point, yeah, my point was twofold. The first is that we need to go around and we need to look at problem child Villa de Cans, and then we need to look at our cargo route supplies again and say things like, well, we're starting to get more food into the food trucks. How many food trucks have we got? 11, and they're not necessarily all in great condition. And I forgot to mention, we got a new vehicle. So we got this Ford Model 77, which is actually pretty good. I like it. It appears smaller graphically, so it's a smaller looking vehicle, but it carries more cargo than the Benz. So it carries slightly more cargo, just one more than the Benz. I mean, it does cost more. That's 14. They're 18. It's 4K. It goes at the same speed, but it's got higher power, which leads me to suspect that it will get up to speed. It'll get up to top speed faster, so it'll be a little bit quicker. The emissions are a little bit higher, which is somewhat antithetical to what I want to do. The loading speeds are the same, and the lifespan's actually one shorter. But that's fine. It'll carry on for 15 years more in terms of lifespan. The Benz truck ending up 1960 and the Ford ending up 1975. We've got 2 stake variants and a tarpaulin truck variant. The tarpaulin truck will carry everything, and the stakes both carry the same, which is really the raw products, except for the oil and the timber. So I've been using those in the vague hope that they'll be slightly faster. So where there's a need for that, and where things are going to better slow down. Yeah, so where there's a need for that, and where there's things going on, I have been swapping them out. So it's a case of now doing what we did sort of like 30 years ago, as it were, in game time, which is, again, going back and having a look at what are we short. We're short a little bit of fuel here, quite a lot of fuel, and we're short a bit of tools and a bit of bricks and a bit of food. The fuel is all coming from here. And we're just, for some reason, not getting enough of it. I'm therefore now inclined to say, now that we have this whole area connected up here to Palentia, this thing seems to produce better. So we may have to play jiggery pokery, and I may actually have to, although it's miles away, I may have to bring fuel also all the way down here. I've also added in extra fuel trucks. So these fuel trucks were going to El Puerto, who briefly wanted fuel, and then now have decided that they no longer want fuel. So I'll leave them because El Puerto Fuel and Timber Tools, I think it was. Um, no, not sure. They wanted fuel. I think they wanted. I feel like they wanted something else that I had brought in or was bringing in. Um, can't remember what that was. Did I change that? And then yeah, goods. So they briefly wanted fuel and they briefly wanted goods. So that's what they're. I have a feeling that that doesn't change. So that's what they're going to want, I think, when they pick back up again. They've had a bit of a knockdown for some reason. These guys also want fuel and goods. So we could, and we are taking fuel from here anyway. So I think dragging in fuel from Palencia down here might help because I'm not getting enough here, and it seems to be like no matter how much I put in here, this is just not producing it. Um, maybe because it's not a direct line down here, it's coming out here, and Antiquera is picking up fuel from here, and so's Arrecife. So Antiquera still hasn't had all of its needs met yet. So Antiquera might be soaking up a little bit extra. Um, of course, I could just drag a train from Palencia directly to this hub, but this we've been through this kind of this whole crazy junction, which is now what is that now? One, two, three. This is like 6 tracks wide at its widest. This station, this Y-shaped thing over here, and then we've got this whole area here doesn't need more trains to it. So that's definitely something to have a look at and a think about. And the other thing is, in the towns and cities, obviously, they have grown. We have got the bus networks, but if you remember the bus networks for towns that were a lot smaller. So when you look at the catchment for the bus stops now, that one is actually pretty good, I would say. This one, pretty good. We've got this one, which is pretty good. Did I say this one? This one's over here. Pretty good. Actually, I don't think Tomaloso needs anything. Tomaloso seems fine. It seems well covered, actually. But that's what we need to do. That's what I need to do. I need to have a look at the placement of bus stops through all the towns and see if we need any more bus stops. Because again, better transport networks leads to population growth. So it's a bit of we've established some things which hopefully will last for a few years. We're going to go back, we're going to check it out. We're then going to go around and check all the trains and the train routes and the primary manufacturing and see if we're shifting everything we need, because we are going to need to up our game. We aren't at maximum demand yet, and we want to continue growing the cities as much as we can. So that's what's next, okay? And that will be the next episode. I imagine. So yeah, there you go. Oh, maintenance, tidying up, checking things, making sure nothing's fallen off the wagon. Some of these things we haven't checked in yonks, absolute yonks and yonks and yonks and yonks. So it's timely that we get into that and have a look at that now. So I want to do that. I've done that. And I might also have another little looky around some of the road network stuff. And is there things that we need to change road network wise? We don't really have a very robust road network this way between Tomaloso. Like I said, the transport coming in at this side of Tomaloso might be better served with a bridge and a flyover or something that's a little bit different and doesn't send all of the cargo traffic in through this side of the town. You have to bear in mind, I guess, that if I do that, and it's going to be waypoints, because I can't I can't otherwise make the cargo routes go the way I want them to go, other than using waypoints. And I don't want to, the private road and the bridge and everything is still very useful in getting people connected to the rest of the world. So I am not going to be getting rid of that. So there you go. A little bit more work to do, and we have to deal with Villa de Cans. What is going on with Villa de Cans? Anyway, that's something for next time. Until then, please do hit that like. Please subscribe to the channel. It does help me an awful lot. I am sitting around doing this all by my lonely lonesome. So anything you can do to help promote my channel would be super awesome. If you do feel like helping me beyond that, of course, there are options to do so, which I'm sure you are well aware of. And I will see you all again real soon for another Transport Fever on Bonneyville, just as soon as I can get around to it. Thank you all for joining me. Ta-ta for now.